Hi everyone, welcome back to the session wherein today we are going to start with chapter 9 of your economic survey. So yes, we are done with chapter 8 and today we are going to focus on our agricultural sector. So yes, we are done with a lot of chapters and they are very helpful for in gathering data regarding to the schemes and regarding to the betterment policies that government is continuously using in the betterment of your various industries and specifically your various sectors. Even if I talk about industry, even if I talk about agricultural sector, your services sector, including your tertiary industry and rest of the parts that are there. Now, industry also includes rest of the subsectors, so also you have to consider that and what are the steps that has been taken by the government of India just to boost those sectors. So yes, that is the reason we are continuously and one by one we are completing each and every sector so that people get to know that we have a lot many steps, a lot many programs, a lot many policies that government is continuously putting, emphasizing on each and everything, right from pre-harvest activities right to post-harvest activities. That includes many of the stages in between. So government is continuously focusing on each and every part just to bring improvement in every part, because a lot of things, or I would say each and every activity is just interconnected with each other. That is the reason government knows this thing very well and government is putting emphasis on each and everything. Now coming on to the session, before that you can see that this is this is our Telegram channel and this is the Telegram channel of our Oliveboard. Simultaneously, if you want to join my Telegram channel also, so that is Educator with that is Economy with Payal. My Telegram channel name is Economy with Payal, wherein I keep on posting current affairs related content, and that content which is very important from your examination perspective. So of course, if you want, you can join this channel. Now we are today going to head towards agriculture and food management sector of the future. Okay. Now everyone knows that primary, or I would say when I call agriculture, this is the primary sector that we have. Now agriculture is also known as the backbone of the industry. Why? Because agricultural sector is the one which first supports your industrial sector also and which gives boost to your services sector also. So you cannot just consider this thing that if you are better in the services sector, you can just leave the rest of the sectors. This can never happen. The interconnectedness is always there among the the sectors that we have. That is, if I broadly consider the sectors, we have one primary sector, another industrial sector, or I would say secondary sector, another one is your services sector or tertiary sector also. Now these three sectors are just interconnected with each other. Improvement in one brings improvement in another. Now considering, taking into consideration an example that if your agricultural sector boosts, if there is an improvement in the crop yield that is there in that particular year, you will see that there is boost in the food processing industries also. So that is the reason how one you can say sector is just interconnected with another. And if there is boost in the food processing industries, of course it will boost your services sector also. So that is how, this is one of the examples. We have another also. So that is how you can see that one sector is just interconnected with another, and improvement in one of course brings improvement in another. Similarly, you can see if there is depreciation, or I can say if there is loss in one sector, of course it brings decrease in the productivity of another sector also. I would generally say the growth, or generally talking about the numbers. Now we'll see one by one that what does this chapter say all about the agriculture. We have a lot many you can say policies, a lot many programs, a lot many schemes that are there to bring improvement in each and every sector. Now we are in a position where we broadly see the agricultural sector only, but government focuses on it through a micro perspective. Government focuses on each and everything, right from taking care of the seeds, taking care of the fertilizers, taking care of the pesticides, until it is reached to the end consumer. Each and every activity, each and every stage is just taken care by the government of India. So we'll see one by one that what all stages does it include, and what is the position, how it has performed in the last year, and how it is going to perform in the coming year also. So now you can see that agricultural sector, so the survey says that it has shown a resilience with a steady growth that is particularly driven by the government initiatives that has been taken by the government of India. So the survey says that we have come up with a lot of the initiatives, and that has bring improvement, or I would say that has bring resiliency in the agricultural sector, and that has somewhere or another proven to be best. So now you can see that it includes the productivity, the diversification, and the in the betterment of the farmers' income also. Now talking about the climate variability, that is always a challenge when I talk about agricultural sector. Now you see that one in the there comes a one stage where your vegetable prices increases. You see a lot many times that there is an increase in the vegetable prices, broadly asking about your onion, your tomato, your potatoes. So there is sudden, these are very volatile vegetables in the market, and you see that there is a lot of ups and downs in the charts if you particularly see these vegetables. Now one of the reasons behind it, that there is a sudden you can say discontinuation, or I would say there is ups and downs, a lot of ups and downs in the climate also, specifically talking about your monsoon sector, monsoon season. So one you will see that one season you'll face a lot of rainfall, which deteriorates your crop yield. Similarly, sometimes happen that there is no rainfall at all, which also deteriorates your crop yield. So climate variability is one of the sectors, is one of the components, is one of the factors that proves to be decrease in the crop yield. But you can see here that the survey says that it has remained a challenge from the many times, but the diversified income streams from the lead activities like your animal husbandry, fisheries, agroforestry help mitigate the risk. Target government schemes further support these efforts. Now one thing that most of the aspirants will be confused here, that we are particularly talking about agricultural sector, but now they have considered, they have started talking about your animal husbandry, your fisheries, and rest of the sectors also. So now generally telling you that primary sector doesn't include agricultural sector only, it is a very broad perspective. So I've told you many a times that primary sector is the one which is prime in nature, as in that whatever you are getting from the the nature, that comes or that becomes a part of your primary sector. So it is solely not linked to the primary sector only, since we get vegetables. I know we get vegetables, we get fruits, we get trees from the the nature only, but you have a lot many other you can say other things as well. You see that there are a lot of metals that you extract from the earth, that is also a part of it, that is also a primary source. Similarly, you are doing a milk production. We have a mole that is entirely dependent on the the primary sector, that is your milk, that is a part of the primary sector. Similarly, you have fisheries, the people who are doing business in the fisheries, they are also dependent on the primary sector. So whatever means whatever you are getting from the the nature, that becomes a part of your primary sector. Next, we see that we now we'll now jump onto the introduction that includes agriculture as well as food management. So now we'll see that what is its economic contribution, and then we'll see that what is the status about employment also. Now before jumping into the data, I want to clear you this thing that I told you while we were starting the video, that agricultural sector is known as the backbone of the industries, or I would say backbone of the economy, because it provides support to the rest of the industries, to rest of the sectors, I would say the whole economy. But one thing that you people have to consider here, that it is very much able to provide high employment rate to the people, or I would say high employment to the people, but it is not that much worth of contributing to the GDP. So if I compare the data, you will see that there is very less contribution to the GDP, whereas if you see the employment generation in this particular sector, so that would be very high. So you can consider it as a drawback also, that it is able to contribute a lot, many employees, but what are they proving? What is their productivity? What are they producing basically, that it is not contributing anywhere in the GDP? So that is a questionable. Now you can see that agriculture and lead activities are crucial for the India's economy. We know that thing, it's a backbone of our economy. Similarly, you can see that it contributes 16% of the GDP in the financial year 24. That is what your survey says. And now talking about the employment, so you can see it is contributing 46.1%. It is contributing 46.1%, and there is a huge gap between the contribution in the GDP as well as the contribution to the employment. So you can see the huge gap here. It is just contributing 16% only in the GDP, whereas if I talk about employment, so it is just, you know, about to touch the half, or I would say you know, the half of the employment, that is your 50%. So just very less than 50% of the, I would say, you know, the half of what it contributes, the half is just you know, contributed solely by the agricultural sector only. Now it has a direct impact on the food security, on the livelihoods and the economic growth of the whole nation. Now we'll talk about growth and resilience. So you can see here that the survey says that it has given a robust sectoral growth, but you see the numbers by itself. The robust sectoral growth is just 5%. This is what the survey says, but they're calling it robust. So now you can see that there is an average annual growth of just 5%. Now the gap is again so much. They have just considered that right from 2017 se leke, we are talking here about 23. So there is an average growth of just 5%, and they are calling it robust. So you can see that what is the case here. Similarly, Q2 financial year 2025 growth says that we are at 3.5% just, and recovering from the previous quarter, that was 0.4% to 2%. Now you can see that what is the growth driven by. So this is driven by the major factors that you know, it is getting affected with. One is your monsoon season, so specifically talking about weather. So weather is one of the features. If it is favorable in nature, of course you see there is an improvement in the productivity also. Improved practices as well as government policies are there. Now we'll see about the growth drivers. So key growth drivers include your remunerative prices, your institutional credit, and your crop diversification, sustainable farming as well. Now I am considering these things, this thing that, you know, these words are very much familiar to all of my audience who joined the session. Remunerative prices, I'm very sure that everyone knows. Institutional credit is also very much known to all of you. The credit system, I would say the loan that is provided by the bank. Similarly, you have crop diversification as well as sustainable farming, as in that you have to take care of the environment also, that is known as your sustainable farming, as in you have to jump to the organic farming. That is all it says about. Now we'll see that what is the status of Kharif food grain production. So you can see it is projected at 1647.05 lakh metric ton, and similarly 89.37 lakh metric ton increase from 2023. So this is what it says. Agricultural income specifically, so it is 5.23% annual growth, past decade lower than the non-agriculture, that is your 6.24%. Now you can see the data here. So agricultural studies, steady performance has been told here. So now you can see that it was just too much in the year of, the Q4 of 2022-23, it was lying at 7.6%. Now if you consider this data which says about 24-25, so Q1 was lying at 2.0%. In Q2, there is an improvement in the Q2, that is 3.5%. Now you can see the compound annual growth rate in the value of output from the agriculture and elite sectors. You can see the rest of the sectors that are associated here. So the sector which has high improvement is in the fishery sector, that is 8.7. Now talking about the agricultural sectors, you can see it is just 3.6%. Okay, so this is what it says. Now you have rest of the sectors of the primary sector. Of course, you can consider them. Now we'll see that what is the agricultural diversity and performance. So you can see that India contributes 11.6% to the global cereal production, but has a lower yield. So India is very much worth in contributing at the global perspective also, that is at 11.6%. Now crop sector, your CAGR, specifically talking about 13 se leke 22, specifically talking about the financial year, so it is 2.1%. And it is driven by what? It is driven by fruits, vegetable and pulses. Now talking about our oil seeds growth, so it is just going slow, that is just at 1.9%, leading to high import dependency. Now high growth in the fisheries, I have already told you that you can see the data by itself, that there is a high growth in the fisheries and there is high growth in meat and eggs also. Okay. The rest of the sector, now after that you have 6.7%, that is your spices, and then you have these two sectors, your livestock as well as your milk. Okay. Then you have what? Then you have pulses. Okay. Then you have these vegetables, then you have this such agriculture, and then you have vegetables, and then you have your oil crops, cereals, and then at last you have oil seeds, and that is the reason we are highly dependent on the imports. Okay. Now you can see here that the international comparison of food productivity for selected crops, this is the data here. Now we'll jump on to the state-wise agricultural growth. So you can see Andhra Pradesh has 8.8% CAGR diversified into jowar. Similarly, you have Madhya Pradesh that is at 6.3% CAGR. Now it is diversified into moong. Now then you have Tamil Nadu that is 4.8% CAGR that is diversified into maize. So this is the case of the, or I would say the agricultural growth of the different states that we have. Now we'll jump onto the future trends and challenges that it is continuously facing. So you can see here that the survey says that rising income leading to the increased demand for the horticulture, livestock and fisheries. So you people see that the survey says that there is a continuous rise in the income of the income of the people. That is the reason they have shifted their focus. When they were solely focusing on the consumption of your rice and dal only, now since their income has been increased, they have shifted their focus towards what? Increased demand in the horticulture, increase of the demand of livestock as well as your fisheries also. Now we need for a better post-harvest activities as well as your marketing management. So whatever, when your fasal, or I would say when your crop is harvested, after that whatever the activities you have is referred to as post-harvest activities. So yes, you have a purpose of storage also. You have the purpose of making it available to the end consumer. Before that you have to go into the APMCs also. You have to go to the mandis also. So that entire process is just a part of your post-harvest activities. Now we have a major role of FPOs also, cooperatives and self-help groups also, and the private investment in just supporting your small farmers. Now what are the government initiatives basically, and what are the reforms that are there? So one is your Doubling Farmers Income Report 2016 says that it has a focus on the productivity, crop intensity as well as your high value crops. Next you have sustainable agriculture initiatives that we are focusing on the organic farming. So you can see per drop more crop. You have to save your resources whatever you have. Now you see in most of the regions the water is just spilled out in a manner that they don't even see it. If they have given the water right in the morning, they will just come in the night and then they see that okay, my farm has been, or I would say my land has been fulfilled. But they don't consider this thing that there is a lot of extra water that has been already wasted. So government is focused on this thing also. The government says that we'll now start with the drop system. The drop system here, the pipelines have been installed here, and drop by drop the crop gets water. That is more sustainable in manner. Of course you will be saved from excessive, or I would say spilt of excessive amount of water. That is what this is an initiative that has been taken by the government of India. Now next is your National Mission on Sustainable Agriculture, which focuses on bringing improvement in crop productivity, but entirely focusing on the agriculture farming and proper management also. So organic fertilizer, climate resilience is there. Similarly, you have digital agriculture. Now I have told you many times that we are entirely integrating our digitalization with most of the sectors. With I would say most of the sectors includes your right from primary to the services sector. So when we are focusing on each and every sector, so how we can forget about primary sector, of course. So we have, government has come up with many initiatives in which it is focusing on the primary sector. So you can see that we have one digital agriculture mission. So which is tech driven advancements, as in that here we are integrating technology using which we'll see bringing more improvement in the agricultural processes. Similarly, we have ENAM, which is your National Agriculture Market. National Agriculture Market says that we have markets, physical markets available. But the government says that we will provide you online platform using which you can just see that which is your end consumer, which are the consumers who are interested in the purchase of my crop, and you need not to visit to the physical market. You can just sit at your home, have an access of the ENAM portal, and you can see that you can just put your prices there, and you can see that which is the most beneficial deal for you, and then you can sell your whatever your crop yield is. So that is also very beneficial. That is just to improve your price discovery. Next we have is farmer income support. So one is your Kisan portal, which is your direct income support. Similarly, you have remunerative prices for crops to ensure stable farmer income. Now there is a need for productivity enhancement, so you can see there is further improvements in the crop productivity across all of the regions that are essential. Now what are the key factors that are associated with it? So one is quality seeds. Okay, whenever we need to bring improvement, these are the various stages. These are the various stages that has to be followed if particularly talking about the agriculture sector. So firstly, you have to take care of the seeds. You have to take care of the seeds. Then you have to jump onto irrigation also. You have to ensure that water management is taking place. Similarly, you have to take care of your soil also. Extension services as well. Post harvest infrastructure का भी ध्यान रखना है, and you have to see that what is your market access. By the time I'm drinking my water, you can see that this is a chart which specifically considers production of the major kharif crops. Now you can see a comparison has been made here between the crop yield that was there in the year of 2023-24 and 24-25. So you can consider rice. It is just equivalent, but there is a sudden rise, I would say a little rise in the year of 24-25. Similarly, you have bajra. There is rise in the 2023, but both are mostly equivalent, but there is a very epsilon, I would say, increase in the year of 2023. Ragi has the same case, and these are almost equivalent to each other. Similarly, these are also equivalent to each other. There is no major, I would say, ups and down anywhere. Of course, jowar has more crop productivity in the year of 2024 and 25, and urad had more productivity in the year of 2023. Now you have the role of agricultural price policies. So it helps farmers to mitigate the market price volatility and make informed about the crop choices. It also encourages your crop diversification and sustainable agricultural practices. Now we'll talk about MSP as a safety net. So MSP is what? Everyone, I'm very sure that my aspirants know about MSP. Yes. So yes, this is what MSP is, your minimum support price. Minimum support price as in that there comes a lot many times that, you know, the farmers, there is a sudden rise in the crop yield of the farmers. And when you have a lot many crops with you, the government says that don't worry, you need not to worry. You need not to, in hurry, you need not to just sell your crops. We will take care of this thing and we'll provide you at least minimum wages, because when there is a sudden increase, or I would say an extra crop yield that is produced, of course that is also a problematic situation for the farmers. Similarly, if there is any season, if there is high rainfall and in that season the crop yield is just entirely you can say deteriorated, so that period of time also MSP proves to be very helpful for the farmers. So this is what MSP says, and the government says that we'll provide you minimum support price. So it guarantees wheat, rice, pulses, oils and nutri cereals also. Similarly, it guides the farmers in the crop selection as well as your future planning. Now we have MSP policy reforms in budget 18-19. So MSP set at 1.5% the weighted average cost of production just to ensure fair returns, and also focus on the sustainable farming as well as to boost the crop cultivation. Similarly, you have MSP increase in the year of 2025. So now you can see there is an increase of 59% arhar dal and 77% rise in the bajra, 89% increase in the masoor, and 98% increase in the rape seeds. Now we'll see about the quality seed for enhancement of growth your crop growth. So you can see that high quality seeds are just essential for the yield and better yield and crop resilience. That is known to each and every person, that if you want your crop yield to be very best, of course firstly you have to take care of the initial stage, that is your seed only. So when you get qualitative seed, of course you will get qualitative crop yield also. Similarly, ICAR produced 1.06 lakh quintals of breeds seeds across 1798 varieties in 81 crops. Now we have a focus on the climate resilient crops also, resistant crops also. So 2,177 out of 2,593 new varieties cater to the climate changes, and similarly you have seed banks just established for the better accessibility. Heat tolerant wheat varieties are also there, widely adopted in the northwestern India, and climate resilient technology demonstrations that are there in 121 vulnerable districts under the NICRA, which is your National Innovation in Climate Resilient Agriculture. Okay. Next you have is about soil degradation issues. Okay. Now the lot of people says that you people know that after green revolution we started focusing or adopting, just to increase our crop yield, we started focusing on what? We started focusing on the more inclination towards chemicals, towards pesticides, towards insecticides. But now is the time, the after effects of the green revolutions are proven to be very disastrous for our environment. Of course, there is a very degradation of our soil also. The health of the soil is very bad, and we are expecting in the coming future that the soil of the health, the health of the soil can be deteriorated more. That is the reason now government is focusing on more of the adoptability of organic farming. So the government is saying that okay, we have deteriorated our soil so much, but now we need to revive it. That is the reason now government is continuously focusing on the adoption of what? On the adoption of organic farming. So now you can see what are the issue and what are the steps that has been taken. So declining of the organic carbon that is there, micronutrients and macronutrients as well, which includes your boron, iron, sulfur. Now it affects the fertility, your productivity as well as sustainability also. Judicious use of fertilizers for the optimum yield is very much important, which includes your urea gold. Now urea gold includes urea plus sulfur for the efficient nutrient uptake and your minimal wastage. Similarly, you have advanced application methods, which includes use of drones, fertigation techniques, and similarly you have PM Pranam initiative, which encourages your alternative fertilizers, nano urea, nano DAP, and organic fertilizers also. Now what are the goals? You can see it improves the soil health, it reduces the pollution, and it enhances your crop productivity. Now what is the impact of rainfall on agriculture? So you can see the precipitation is crucial for the fresh water replenishment as well as for agriculture. Now climate change disrupts the rainfall pattern, affecting the crop yields and farmers' livelihood also. Now it says that 55% of the net sown area in India is irrigated, while the rest depends on the rain-fed system, making them more vulnerable in nature. Now you can see that what is the increase in the gross irrigated area. So you can see there was an increase in the year of 2021. It just reached out to near 50, and now you can see in the year of 2021-22 it is just near to it, or I would say an equivalent part to it. Now we'll see about the drought risks also. So you can see the survey says that more than 2/3 of the India's agriculture is drought prone. So the survey says that more than 2/3 of the agriculture yield, or I would say the agricultural land that we have, is just drought prone. And the government is taking continuous steps to improve that. Now the probability of drought, 20% in the dry humid regions and 40% in the arid zones. Climate change in agriculture improves or includes your rising climate variability, which includes your dry spells during the monsoon has increased by 27%. And similarly you can see that extreme your waterfalls are there in certain India, they have rose by 75%, and there are more frequent and widespread droughts also. Now you can see the chart that is specifically related to sources of irrigation. Now we will turn on to the rainfall and irrigation system. So it includes the studies that show that by 2099, we will see that there is rise in the temperature by 2%, and similarly there will be rise in the rainfall by 7%. This can prove to be decrease in our crop yield by 8 to 12%. Okay. Now there are also risks that are associated regarding your heat also. So heat stress, that is negatively impacting your crop yield and worsening over the time. Now mitigation strategy says that it will expand irrigation system and promote your heat and water resistant crops also. Now what are the expansion of the irrigation coverage? So you can see that there is an increase right from 49.3% to 55% of the cross cropped area. Similarly, you have irrigation intensity that rose from 144.2% to 154.5%. Now we have state-wise irrigation coverage also. So you can see that Punjab has 98%. You can say Haryana has 94%, UP 84%, Telangana has 86%. Low coverage की अगर मैं बात करूँ, so you can see it includes your Jharkhand as well as Assam. They need an urgent improvement. Now we have rain-fed area development program also, which was launched under PNMSA integrated with RKVY, which includes your what? Which includes your the allocation of the allocation of the budget of 1858.41 crore, and it includes 8 lakh of hectares have been covered. Now you can see the data of your states with the lowest Jharkhand and highest irrigation areas under the irrigation in Punjab, and this is the situation of Punjab. Okay. Now we'll see about government initiatives for the irrigation development. Government initiatives for the irrigation development. So this is per drop per crop. Okay, that is known to everyone. Financial support kitna mila tha? 55% of the marginal farmers and 45% for others. Now you can see that what was allocated to it. Similarly, you have micro irrigation fund also, which includes 2% of the subvention to the states for micro irrigation projects. Now you have technology driven water conservation. So it includes what? It includes ATE Chandra Foundation study says that community-led water body rejuvenation can enhance your rural water security. Now this was what mentioned by this particular study. Now next you have CLARTGIS and Avni Grameen app, which identifies the groundwater recharge potential, and it also monitors the intervention with the geotagged images. Now cost-effective solutions have been given to India's water crisis with the environment and economic and social benefits. Now we'll see that what is the importance of credit in agriculture. Now it plays a huge role. Of course, if you want to make development anywhere, you need credit. You need credit for small, you can say expenditures also, and you need credit for long, or I would say big expenditures also, which are very much able to create assets. So it includes both of them. Now we'll see what are the steps that has been taken by the government of India just to give boost to it. So now you have access to the credit. It's very essential for the small as well as your micro, farmers, marginal farmers also. Now the Kisan Credit Card scheme provides hassle-free and timely short-term credit for the farmers. So credit card jo scheme hai, this is one of the proven as a best scheme which is providing help to the farmers. Okay. Now you see the chart that the crop loan is just increasing over the period of time. Now we have, why is it not working? Okay, now you have Kisan Credit Card scheme. So you can see the data here. I've already told you that it gives a quality-free loan, and you can see the rest of the data that is associated with it. Now you have modified interest subvention scheme, which also ensures this thing that will provide you loan at a very low interest rate. And now with that you have prompt repayment incentive, which is your PRI. So PRI says that if you make timely repayment of your loan, will provide you further extension, or I would say further loose in the will give you more subsidy, or specifically talking about incentive on the interest rate that you get. So if for say that you are getting interest, or you are getting loan at 7% under MISI, and if you are continuously making timely repayment of the data, you will be given it at 3%. Okay, so there is more concession at it. Now you have priority sector lending and growth in agricultural credit. So banks must allocate 40% of ANBC, which is your adjusted net bank credit. Similarly, you have CEOBE, which says that you have credit equivalent of balance sheet your exposures. And similarly, we are now talking about the priority sectors that includes your agriculture. Now the survey says that there is a need to reduce reliance on the informal credit sources, and we need to become more dependent on the formal credit system. Now we are talking about the ground level credit and growth also. So you can see the share of small and marginal farmers are just reaching heights. Now we'll talk about Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. So Fasal means what? It is your crop, and Bima says insurance. Okay. So this is a step that has been taken by the government of India just to provide insurance to your crop. So this is largest crop insurance that is there, and third largest by premium also. Now technology advancements includes YesTech, WINS, Tropic to reduce the human intervention and to improve the transparency. Now we have Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana enrollment and coverage. So you can see the case here that there is an increase in it. Now you have Kisan Rin portal. Okay, Kisan Rin portal. So the Rin portal says that when there was a time that previously banks were just submitting the claims for IS, which is your interest subvention and prompt repayment incentive, manually to your RBI as well as NABARD. Now there comes a lot of time when there was a disruption, or I would say delay in the work, but now the system has made it digitalized. Now the system has made it digitalized and it is more easy to provide them data. So this is just about your Kisan Rin portal. Now you can just go through the rest of the information, which is very easy to consider. Okay. Now we'll talk about the challenges in the mechanization. So you can see that high machinery cost hinder the adoption. We are, the tractors, the rest of the machinery is available, but it has, it is just high at prices, and specifically talking about small and marginal farmers, they cannot just, purchase it. But we have a solution for it also. We have customer hiring centers and your farm machinery banks, which offer them such machinery at a very affordable cost, or you can say at a very affordable rent. Okay, so you can get them at rent also. Now you have sub-mission on agriculture mechanization, which is your SAMA. Okay, now it supports your state governments just with the training, demonstrations, and your agriculture machinery also. Now it says that you have establishment of customer hiring centers to promote your farm mechanization. Similarly, you can see the case here, which is with your hiring centers. Now we have drawn initiatives for your women self-help groups. So drawn Didi is one of the initiatives that you can consider here. So it has empowered 15,000 of women self-help groups, and the financial assistance has also been provided, which is just increasing over the period of time. Now what are the government initiatives? So you can see submission on agriculture extension is one of the schemes which aims to promote the productivity, entrepreneurship, as well as your sustainability also. Okay. Now what are the key extension activities that are associated, specifically talking about the financial year 24-25? So you can see that outreach and the training has reached 2 million farmers, your 3.66 million farmers have been benefited, and they have availed the benefits 4.49 million people. Skill training of rural youth includes your 20,940 candidates alone. If I specifically talk about 25, so it includes 5,504 people or individuals or youth has been trained. Training for the extension of workers, so you can see the consideration of the data that is specifically about the states. Now you can see the Kisan Credit Call Center is also there, which assists the farmers, and that too in multilingual, too in multiple languages, as in that we are living in India and we have an adoption of languages. Each and every state is using different languages. Of course, each and every person is not very well versed with the with the Hindi as well as your English. So people use their multiple languages. So the system, the call center, ensures that we are reaching out to 17 locations and we are using 22 languages. Now we'll see that what are the infrastructural development agriculture activities that are there. So one is your agriculture marketing, your infrastructure sub scheme that was taken in the year of 2014. Now the sole purpose of this particular scheme is to enhance, or I would say to attract private investment in the post harvest activities that includes your specifically storage as well as your marketing activities. Okay. Now you see that rest of the features that are associated with it. So it includes your women led as well as it promotes SC and STs also. Okay. Now we have agriculture infrastructure fund that was taken in the year of 2020. Now infrastructure fund includes what? Farm gate infrastructure as well as your post harvest management. Okay. Now it ensures that we have a participation of the private players, and we are continuously supporting the customer support hiring centers and processing units, warehouses, as well as your cold storages also. Now we have e-NAM portal. So e-NAM portal, or this particular step says that you need not to be physically present to the markets that are there. Of course, you can use the electronic platform and you can have an access there. Now you can just deal with the customers who are giving you high prices also. So that is also the case. Now the modernization of the APMC is just for the better price discovery and efficiency. This is how it is helping your farmers. Next we have national mission for agriculture, for the sustainable agriculture. Now when you come across this word sustainable agriculture, so it means here we are talking about organic farming. Here we are talking about organic farming. Okay. Next you have organic farming initiative. So it is one of the part of it, which includes Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana. And next you have mission organic value chain development for northeastern region And you can see here the improvement that 434 farm producer companies have been created, 1.73 lakh hectare has been covered, and 2.19 lakh farmers have been benefited. Now you see the case of livestock sector, which is specifically it is proving to be as a growth engine. So it has a contribution in the agricultural GVA, which has risen right from 24.38% to 30.23%. Okay. Now you can see the milk production. It is not, it is alone contributes, it just alone contributes 11.16 lakh crore and exceeding the paddy and wheat production also. Now what are the key government interventions? So one, for the betterment of the livestock and the betterment of the your milk production. So you have one Gokul mission. Similarly, you have a livestock health and disease control program, because if you want to increase your livestock sector particularly, and if you want to increase your milk production, of course it is very necessary that you're taking care of the the health of your livestock. That is what is it. IVF insect sorted semen is also one of the initiatives. FPOs and self-help groups formation is another initiative, and you have Maitris also, which is your multi-purpose AI technicians, which is also providing doorstep breeding support to each and every person, specifically focusing more on the rural areas. Now you can see here, this is a chart that particularly shows about the growth in the production in the milk, meat, eggs and fishes. So yes, you can see the case here. Now we have fishery sector, so you can see that there is an improvement in it. Of course, the growth initiatives or the key initiatives that is being taken by the government of India, one is Matsya Sampada Yojana. Matsya is something that is related to fish. So just going through the word itself, Matsya. So when you are going, it's you are going through the word Matsya, you should get to know that it is something that is related to fish. Now you have fisheries and aquaculture, industrial development, which enhances your marine and inland fisheries infrastructure. Similarly, you have innovative technologies, which includes your cage farming, RAS, bioflocks, pens, as well as your raceways also. Now there is an expansion in the saline water aquaculture and freshwater fisheries also, and cold storage, transport infrastructure for export of seafood particularly. Government is focusing on this infrastructure also. Now digital formation, so we have Matsya Samriddhi, Kisan Samriddhi Sahay Yojana is there, and similarly we have National Fisheries Digital Program is also there. Now we'll talk about the cooperative society. So cooperative societies, I'm very sure that each and every person here who is attending the class knows that what is cooperative society basically. So cooperative society says what, that you have amalgamation of the most of the people, or I would say this is a group of people who is there taking care of one each they taking care of one common interest. So all have made a group, and I would say that the people has one main aim only. So if one person has taken loan, it is the responsibility of the entire cooperative system. So each and every individual cooperates with each other, and the interest and the aim of each and every person is just same only. So this is what your cooperative society is. Now specifically talking about the cooperative societies in the agriculture, so they means that they have a group of people who have a common aim in the agriculture sector, I would say betterment of the agricultural sector. Now credit, banking, housing and women's welfare, promoting the financial inclusion for the farmers and small entrepreneurs is there. Now what are the key initiatives? So one, you can see that there are model bylaws of PACS. Similarly, primary agriculture credit societies, that is there. Similarly, you have computerization of primary agriculture credit societies, new multi-purpose primary agriculture credit societies, and primary agriculture credit societies as a common services center. Now you have retail, petrol and diesel outlets also, which includes micro ATMs and in cooperatives, and RuPay Kisan credit card for dairy cooperatives also. Now what is its impact and achievements? You can see that 9,000 plus new PACs, which is your primary agriculture cooperative society, dairy and fishery cooperatives, have been established in the underserved areas. Now I have told you many a times that you have two types of areas. One is your underserved and next is your unserved. Underserved is what that you have such an area which is having such which is having few resources which is made by the government of India, but still there that needs to be, needs to bring more of the improvement in that particular sector. But your unserved area says that these are the areas which are still untouched by the government of India, and the government of India needs to focus more on these areas because there is no connectivity, there is no availability of the resources. The people are just lying, I would say they are lacking in each and every connectivity, in each and every resources. So the government needs to focus more on these areas. Next, you have 35,293 PACs transformed into the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samriddhi Kendras, which essentially provides fertilizers and agri services also. Now the survey says that it is specifically bringing boost in your food processing industries also. So it provides 12.41% of the total organic manufacturing employment, and it is contributing significantly to the agriculture food exports. Now we have a few government initiatives which is bringing boost here. So you have Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana, which is there focusing on the modern infrastructure. Similarly, you have PLI scheme in the food processing, which provides incentive if you focus on the upliftment of the manufacturing sector. Similarly, you have Pradhan Mantri formalization of micro food processing enterprises, which provides technical, financial and business support. Next, you have impact. So you can see that processed food support have surged from 14.9% to 23.4% in the year of 2024. Now, agri support hits USD 46.44 billion in 2024, making up 11.7% of the India's total exports. Now, talking about the food security, so of course, government has to take care of that also. Now, we'll see that what are the rest of the initiatives that are specifically related to it. So, one, you have National Food Security Act 2013, which says that it includes legal rights to food for 75% of the rural and 50% of the urban population. Similarly, you have Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana also, which provides free food services to be provided to the 80 crore of beneficiaries. Then you have One Nation One Ration Card, which includes your eKYC compliance nationwide, and the Aadhaar card should be linked with the PDS just to make this thing sure that people are able to access it all over the India, not specifically in one state only. Next, you have Credit Guarantee Scheme for your NWR. Base pledge financing that includes your this is your negotiable warehouse receipts, if you are able to remember. If you are able to remember, these are your negotiable warehousing receipts. Now, if we have few people who doesn't know about it. So negotiable warehousing receipts mean that whenever you have a crop yield and you are not just going to the market and selling it suddenly at that particular period of time only, rather you thought that I'll keep it in the warehouses. So you have one licensed warehouse, you just go in that and submits your crop yield there. Now they'll give you a receipt which will be in electronic basis, and they'll give you a receipt ensuring that each and every information about your crop yield is just mentioned here. Now they are negotiable in nature. Why? Because tomorrow you can just you need not to take your whole crop yield and sell it to another individual. You can just sell your that negotiable receipt also to that another individual. So you're earning money out of that. You will earn extra money, and when you have sold it to another individual, of course that individual will have an ownership on your crop yield. Similarly, if you want to take loan from bank for a short term purpose, so it is proven helpful in that also. You can use it as a collateral also. So this is how it is helpful. Now this is specifically to give boost to your crop harvest lending. Now what is its impact? So transition from the welfare based to the right based approach. Okay, seamless PDS access is there, and it shows an increase in the financial inclusion also. Now we'll see that what is all about the agriculture. What are the all schemes that is specifically bringing improvement in it. So you have Kisan scheme that is there. You have PMKMY that provides the financial as well as your your social social security also. A lead sector growth includes your livestock, your dairying as well as your fisheries, just to boost your farmers' income. And you have climate challenges, but you need to go through it and you need to focus more on the research and development and micro irrigation also. Now what are the key growth drivers? So these are your ENAM, KYC, your food processing industries, your organizations for the better prices industry discovery, as well as your market research also. Now we need to to strengthen your supply chains, especially in the remote areas, for the betterment in the infrastructure as well as storage. Balanced production says that we need to reduce our overproduction of cereals, while we need to promote the promotion of the pulses as well as the edible oils. Now sustainability focus entirely focuses on the soil health, water conservation and energy efficiency farming. Now the road ahead says that we have stable 5% of agricultural growth with 20% of GVA share, and can add 1% to the national GVA. Now entrepreneurship in agricultural tech will thrive, boosting the farmers' income as well as your innovation. And the government say that India can become a very much able to become a global food security leader, and we have worth in supporting other nations also, but we need to focus on this thing. Now you have a paragraph on which I've taken a few questions here. So a state level producer company in Maharashtra has empowered B to procure and sell agricultural products including pulses and perishable items. It has helped farmers by providing multiple procurement centers, reducing transportation costs and ensuring timely payment at MSP. In 2022, it became Maharashtra's dash C, which is specifically C. The company has also assisted FPOs in developing infrastructure like storage facilities and processing units by connecting FPOs with the private, your players, and using digital technology. It has created employment opportunities and strengthened the agricultural value chain. Now you have to tell me, what does A refer to? Is it your farmer producer company limited? Is it Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana, agriculture infrastructure fund, agriculture produce market committee, if it is Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana? So here we talked about a company, so you have one company only, so the answer is A, which is your 1. Okay. Next question you have about the FPOs. So it considers 646 FPOs. Okay, it considers 646 FPOs. Now you have to tell me about the part which is mentioned as a state in C. So I made a mistake here that I wanted to include state, but यहाँ पे मैंने state का नाम लिख दिया है and I have taken C here. That is just a technical error. So yes, you have got the answer here. So the correct answer we have is fourth one, that is your D, which is your Maharashtra. Okay, so these are the questions that are associated with this chapter, and yes, we are done with 9 chapters of your survey. And in the coming chapters we'll see the rest of the chapters, which are very few that are left. But yes, these are very important because you have to consider each and every step that has been taken by the government of India. So I hope each and everything is clear, and I'll meet you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye. Thank you.